Welcome to the Prosperity Pathways podcast. My name is EricaDarchelle, and I'm here with Chef Anthony Thomas. Welcome.
Yes. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and I appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
So we're going to start off our interview today with our first question, which is, what inspired you to embark on a culinary career in the culturally rich DC environment?
I was born and raised here. I was born in Greater Southeast Hospital over there in Southeast DC. Raised in Mount Rainier, right up the street. And just embracing the culture here, the go-go music, the mumbo sauce, the rich food that we have here. I just embraced it as I grew up, and I enjoy every bit of the DC culture and just seeing how it's thrived over the years, and I try to leave my mark.
So in overcoming your 2004 health challenge, how did that shape your cooking philosophy and your approach on wellness?
So October 5th, 2006, I was rushed to the hospital, PG hospital, because I had a seizure. So this was a random seizure, never had a seizure prior, but it was triggered by a poor diet. I was eating a lot of sodium dishes. Let's just say college kids, how college kids are, just eating Taco Bell, well, eating a lot of fast food. So it triggered. I went to the hospital. They didn't know what was wrong with me. They took me over to GW hospital, and GW said, you have an arterial venous malformation. And it sounds very complex, but basically blood doesn't flow through your brain properly, causing migraines, headaches, and seizures. I would always have migraines growing up. Either way, they corrected it. I had overhead brain surgery. Once they corrected it, I never had another migraine ever again. And I believe that that's what inspired my culinary journey, because after that, I became a full vegan, cooking dishes from scratch that were plant-based. Protein came from all sorts of beans, lentils.
Quinoa's a good one.
Quinoa's excellent. I think it's underrated too. I don't think
it really is.
People don't really pay much attention, and it's low carb, so that's how I dove into it.
I did a plant-based journey for a while, and I've gotten back into chicken and fish here and there, but for the most part, I still eat mostly fruits and little vegetables. Because I have done a lot of research on nutrition, and because I went to culinary school too. And so when I graduated, I was like, oh wait, I want to be a nutritionist. I didn't do that either. But I still did a lot of research, and my grandfather had Alzheimer's. And a lot of research I did on that actually traces it back to poor diet. There's bacteria and stuff that'll grow within your intestines that affects your brain and causes dementia, Alzheimer's, all of that stuff. And they're starting to realize it's not necessarily genetic. They thought it was genetic because it happened generation after generation, but the same thing that's also happening generation after generation is poor diet.
100%.
Because it gets handed down. So that's definitely what I'm reaching for with my children, and I'm sure you are too.
100%.
Teach them to eat better. You can have what you want here and there, but don't dive in.
Everything in moderation though. The only thing that's not in moderation is water. I will drink, me personally, I could probably drink about 6 of these a day. And if I go through phases where if I don't get an ample amount of water in an hour span, I become dehydrated. So when people say that they don't drink water, I'm like, I don't understand how you do it.
And I think that's from that plant-based journey, because I can literally tell too, if I don't drink water for like an hour, I'm super thirsty, like desert thirsty. Like, I think I need some water. That's also why I made sure I kept some water for us, because while we're talking, that happens too, because I'm in sales otherwise as well. And that's a lot of talking. I was talking to people one time, I could tell I was out of water because I started choking on my own words. I'm like hold on, let me go get some water. I'll be right back.
100%.
Yes.
All fall and winter, I keep a big half-gallon in my car, and I probably can finish that in about 4 or 5 days. And that's just my car ride. Water.
That stays in the
and it stays car. Like this nice temperature, not too cold, not too warm, just right.
I like room temperature water, because you can drink more water that way.
100%.
When it's ice cold, you start getting it brain freeze. Halfway through it. So our next topic is going to be your catering company. Launching your catering company. Boy, I'm having a terrible morning.
You need some water.
I need some more water. Hold on. Okay, so launching your catering company was a bold step. What were the major challenges and rewards to your encounter?
So I started in 2008. 2009. And I was fairly young. I was like 22. And during that period of time, I didn't really necessarily know how to price things out, which I have down to a science now. Like, I teach the young chefs under me how to price things out. But back then, people would have these events, and the only thing I wanted them to pay me back with was feedback. I felt like that feedback would help sharpen me up. So I would contribute to the dish. I'm like, I'm not going to do your whole event, salad, starter, appetizer, main course. Let me just contribute a dish to your event, your function, your baby shower, and just let me know what y'all think.
Good way to start, though, because then you can share that feedback as you grow.
100%. It helped me to realize, okay, balance. Okay, too much dill. Okay, not enough seasoning. Not enough sea salt. Too much crab. Whatever it was during that period of time. And, just cooking, I mean, like literally, I probably ate out once a month. Like during that period of time, even now, it's probably like once a month.
Yeah.
I don't even eat any fast food, really. If I'm going to stop and I want to grab something, if I stop and I want to get something, like while I'm on the road, it's not the corner store fast food restaurants. It's probably 7-Eleven to grab some trail mix or, something really quick, some sunflower seeds. Yeah, peanuts, almonds, those salt and vinegar peanuts. Oh my goodness, those are some of my favorites. Like,
I used to do the spicy ones, but they're too salty.
Too much sodium. Yeah, way too much. But yeah, I started the catering business, and that's how I started, by getting feedback from people on certain dishes, which I feel like helped project me to a different level. And some of the hardships are, of course, dealing with our own people and people having these expectations that they should get something for nothing.
Always. Just because they, brother, sister, like, where's my discount? Even working in retail, they'll come in, oh, I know such and such, which is the owner's name. They'll say his name. Oh, I know such and such. Where is he? He's not here. Even when he's there, he tells us when people ask for him, you can call him. If you have his number, then you're close enough that he'll answer. 100%. If you don't have his number, then no, you're not about to get a discount or something for free, because that's the only reason you're looking for him.
And we don't do that to anyone else but our own people.
Exactly.
It's a devaluing mechanism that people try to utilize. Another thing is people, let's say they pay for my services. Then after they pay for the services, they'll ask questions like, well, does this come with that? Does this come with that? And I'm like, well, you didn't ask that prior to.
Exactly.
Basically, in a nutshell, wanting something for nothing. So let's say you paid, and the contract says it's for food, full cleanup, staff, and this and that. If they'll come back. So does that come with plates? Hey, does that come with dessert? Hey, does that come with drinks? And it's like, well, those things can be taken care of, but why not either ask how much to add on the drinks, how much to add on extra staff, how much to add on dessert? Like, we always want to ask for something. And then another thing is being at a disadvantage. As a Black business, you're already at a disadvantage. You're graded at 80%. You can only get to 100 if you go over and beyond.
Exactly. Something people are willing to pay extra for somewhere else. They wouldn't pay us extra for. 100%. They expect it to be included.
100%.
And that's with almost everything, honestly.
So you're already at a disadvantage because another problem, and this is a hardship, I really tell you don't deal with it now, but I know what it felt like to go through it, is the expectation that something is not done properly. So they think, okay, let me say, somebody said, this needs to be set up like this needs to be set up like this. If they come in, they'll be, see, this is why I don't deal with Black business, because I told him to have it like this and like this, but he had it like this and like this.
Yes.
It's always looking for an issue. So the only way you can win with your own people, most times, is if you gave them this, you gave them this, you also gave them this, and you gave them this, and you even threw in this, because and then sometimes
mediocre rating,
and you'll still be at 90 to 100. Like, we never can just give our own people, I don't know,
a level playing field.
It's never level.
That's the only I could put into that, because a lot of times somebody will go through something at a Black-owned business and do all this, and I've seen this in person. I've been with people who've done this. that they'll go to a Black-owned business, they'll experience something and just go off the wall. Meanwhile, I just seen you at Starbucks not care that the same thing happened.
Talk to
me.
Yep.
Come on now, be serious. Yep. There should be a margin of error for everyone because we're all human.
No. I'll go online and I'm going to tell you about my experience at X, Y, and Z's soul food restaurant, at X, Y, and Z's nail salon, nail tech, hair salon, whatever. And if you're African American, we find it easier as an African American to go online, to bash, to basically try to put this individual out of business or to try to smear their name. But you'll have a bad experience at that high-end designer store, at that high-end mall, and you won't say anything. You'll just be upset with the cashier. Or
it has to be extremely bad for you to even say anything.
The worst part is you're here to sometimes prove a point, so you'll spend more money with the company or business or realtor that just shamed you and was, you
had a whole
radical
tongue and all that stuff, and you're rewarding them.
Yep. They made you feel like you didn't have the money to spend with them, so you proved to them by spending more money with them. Meanwhile, you'll come to somebody like me or like you and ask for a discount.
Can I get it? Yes. Can I get a discount?
Yep. I had experience a couple weeks ago, and I make these reenactment videos of customers. Where
I've seen one of them before too.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I had a woman actually say, and I made it like it was a guy in the video, but it was a woman who didn't want to pay for my services when I gave her the price because it said, this is the price plus Maryland state taxes. I didn't understand how she wrote me and said, oh, that's a great price, but I don't want to pay the Maryland state taxes.
You got to pay taxes everywhere you go.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, once I put it into the system, it's going to auto-populate. If it's 2810, it's going to come out to 2958. You don't want to pay the extra money that the system already generates in taxes. So when I go to pay my taxes in January, I'm supposed to cover
you.
No. And then try to shame me and say, this is bad business practice. I would never let 2810 walk out the door. Well, guess what? I think your 2810 is not good here.
Yeah.
Because you sound like a nuisance. You sound like a problem. You sound like once you give me the 2810, now I'm binded into Death Row Records. Yeah, like you may be a problem. Yeah. So it may not even be worth your 2810.
Yeah.
I'm actually willing to, here you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly.
You did me a solid. 100%.
Period. Not 100%. All money is good money. And I think there was I know there's one customer I referred to you that was kind of difficult as well.
Yeah.
And the same thing, like, what? Well, why is this and this? Well, hold up. You're not even answering the questions I need to give you an accurate estimate. And you're already calling me all fraud and all kinds of things. Like, you can go on about your business, ma'am. But thank you.
But I even still to this day, I still get shamed. And I tell my young guys, if I still get it, you're going to get it. So you just got to have tough skin. Like, I could tell someone an accolade, maybe like, I have 9 books on Amazon. And people will literally, my people, will look at me and be like,
really?
Oh, okay. Like it's almost like it's minuscule. Another thing that I get. So do you have a restaurant? And I'm thinking to myself,
I have to have a restaurant?
I'm like, how about this? How about I have a lot of friends who own restaurants. And you may think, oh, he has the brick and mortar, but it's sometimes not all that it's cracked up to be. It's a beautiful thing, but it's a lot of problems that come into it. I work 4 to 5 hours when I go pull up to someone's house, someone's venue, do their event, and I can go home.
Yes.
You start that restaurant is open from 11 to 11 at night. That's 12 hours that it's open.
You got to pay people, you got to hire.
And prior to, they still have to be open.
Uniforms, equipment,
lights, rent. I mean, it's so many different things that come into it. Then you got to worry about people, whether they're stealing when you're not there. You got to set up cameras. You got insurance policies, so many things. And, maybe one day it'll happen. But, it's not the end all be all. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I think people
don't understand.
They really just don't, man. Like they think that that's really it. Like the upper echelon. I don't get it.
Yeah, and then especially in this day and age, you don't need a brick and mortar. There's people who started their brick and mortar off of doing Grubhub and DoorDash and Uber Eats. They did not have a brick and mortar first. They cooking out of their kitchen. They were ghost kitchening, renting out somebody else's kitchen at nighttime. and just making it happen.
Yeah.
And that's the whole purpose of this podcast, is to let people know, like, there are alternatives. You don't just
it's not just
think
one way
to have a storefront.
They'd be like, "Did you have a food truck?" Like at one point, it was like, "Do you have a food truck?"
Yeah.
And I'm thinking myself, I personally there's nothing against food trucks, but I personally I don't like to work in small spaces like that.
Yes, I've worked in one before.
There's a lot of politics with where you can park, where you can pull up to. So that's what kind of deterred me away from
getting all your vendor licenses, making sure that everything's showing up, and then like it's harder to maintain a moving kitchen than it is the brick and mortar. And then with, like you said, catering is like the easiest thing ever. You don't have to worry about maintaining the equipment because it's somebody else's. Yep. You have all of the utensils you need because you carry those around with you.
Yep.
And then other than that, everything is kosher.
To me, it's more about being a solid individual when it comes to catering. Like, I feel like Chef Anthony Thomas puts the personal in personal chef. So if you don't have a personality, being a personal chef is almost like it's useless. Yeah. Because you're going into people's homes, you're going to people's venues, you actually are interacting with people. So I tell my people, my staff, you walk in, smile, hey, how you doing? You know, so that people feel warm. That's why we love your favorite fast food restaurant. Not because the food is so amazing, but because the customer service.
Yeah.
So when I'm walking in, well-groomed, big smile, clean attire, that'll get you way over the hill than other things, you know. Then on top of it, your presentation of the food look good. It's well garnished. It smells great. You're using high quality meats and proteins and organic veggies. Those things go even further.
Yeah. That's definitely why even in culinary school, they tell you quality, not just quality of your food, not just quality of your place, but quality of you. Like, be an actual genuine person. Your customer service should be as tip top as you can make it be. As well as your presentation of yourself.
Yeah. But some of the good things, though, I don't want to talk about just the bad. Some of the good things are being able to meet a vast amount of people. So, like, last week, I had an event for, was that last week? What's today?
Oh, I have no idea.
Today's Tuesday?
The 19th.
19th. So, Friday, I did an event for 200. The Friday before that, an event for 300. You know, and throughout the week, you know, doing events 50, 60, it's a numbers game. And the more people I meet, the more people I can potentially cook for. So if I've been doing this for 16 years, you cooking 50 people this day, 60, 70, 100, 2. And then, you know, it's just the numbers, and then people telling other people, like, your reach is unlimited. So, you know, they say, oh, it's a word of mouth thing. Like, at some point, the word of mouth kind of exhausts itself, because if you're constantly giving great quality food, great quality service, your name is just going to ring bells. So whenever somebody thinks of a chef or someone to cater X, Y, and Z, you're the name that pops up.
Exactly.
And then on top of it, giving out great content online and, you know, showing people, you know, just that little bit of you, you know, you, your wife, you, your husband, you and your kids, you and, you know, whoever.
Yeah.
It draws people to you.
They will buy from you.
100%.
Yeah. And that's actually how we met, at one event that you were catering for, and I was making the balloon arch for it. Yep. Meet great people. All right. So our next topic is about your 9 books, including children-focused ones. What drives your passion for writing, and what impact do you hope to have?
So growing up, I wasn't really the biggest reader, but as I got older, one type of book I will always read is recipe books. So I'm sitting there and I'm reading it. I come across a word I may not know. Mirepoix. What is mirepoix? Google. Oh, celery, carrot, onion. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? It's just stuff like that. So building my vocabulary. And the very first book came about kind of weird. So I would keep a notepad full of recipes. People would write me when I first got on Instagram. People were like, hey, drop the recipe. And I'm like, being a nice guy, I'm like, this is going to help me expand, which I wouldn't even do it now, but so I'm writing up, typing up recipes. One cup of this, one cup of this. I looked up one day and I had like 30 recipes in my archives. And I'm like, hold on. Let me figure out how to do this on my own. So Google how to self-publish, boom.
Amazon.
Found out how to do it. Book cover, front cover, table contents, put it all together. And first book's on there, promote it. I'm like, I can do this. Let me find another resource. Okay. People keep asking me, how do you meal prep? Da, da, da. So I'm going to people's houses showing them how to meal prep. Let me make a book how to meal prep. Go to the grocery store, make a checklist. Da, 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 da. Even gave them a meal plan in the back of that book. So I got a self-help book on how to meal prep.
Yeah, that's all that one too.
Then you got children's books, because once I had a child, I'm like, okay, so I'm making her butternut squash. Okay, I'm making her avocado. Let me show other parents who may not know what to make. And you're just continuing to add to the collection.
Yeah, because I've had a lot of family that they don't have a variety of food that they eat because they don't even know how to cook it, how it's eaten. They just see people with it. They've never really had dishes on a regular basis with it. So
how often you cook?
I cook at home at least like 2 or 3 times a week because it usually lasts me 2 or 3 days when I cook.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you eating in 5 to 6 days a week and eating out maybe once. Yeah. That's really
unless
a good.
Somebody else buys the food.
that's a good ratio though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, I am mostly plant-based. So when I wake up in the morning, for one, I don't eat breakfast. I've made that as part of my routine. Your body's not warmed up enough to be
100%.
even want to process anything.
Yep.
So I usually eat around 11. And after that, I'm working. I eat like 2 meals a day. That's it. I might have a snack. It might be an apple, oranges, stuff like that. And I'm good at doing that. Plus, I drink plenty of water. A lot of people don't realize sometimes when you feel hungry, you're actually thirsty.
Yeah.
And so that's what happens when they're overeating. And I would keep trying to coach my stepmother on doing that because she does that a lot.
Yeah.
I don't see her drink enough water, but she's always munching on something.
Yeah.
It's because you're thirsty.
Yep.
It's because you're thirsty and dehydrated.
Yep.
But I'm going to get them on the right track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to.
Definitely. And I'm starting my own book too. I'm going to do a children's series after that because I do have a 13-year-old son. But I'll talk more about my book when I get further along in it.
Yeah, no,
but if you
need help self-publishing, I got you.
Yes, thank you. It's a narrative about a young lady in an urban situation, a more urban situation than Rich Dad Poor Dad was. And it's going to be a whole narrative that teaches financial literacy.
Awesome.
That way it's easier to take in for young adults who need the information because you can see the actual situations of it, not somebody just instructing you like, hey, do this, and shoving a paper in your hand, fill this out. Like, dude, what?
Yeah.
Like they don't know what to do half the time. I know when I did my first budget, my grandma had taught me my first budget. So, yeah. But then as I got older and started learning more stuff, some of her philosophies on money that she thought was good is not because she also grew up in like Great Depression times.
Yeah.
So that's when they started using credit and stuff like that. And they thought it was good to maintain a credit card that you're always using and stuff like that. Like, nah.
Yeah.
You can have a credit card, but don't always use it for everything.
Yeah.
Like, there's more tips on that on a different episode. Yes. So, who have been your key mentors or influencers, and how have they shaped your approach to business success?
I don't really have any mentors that I can literally pick up the phone and just call and be like, hey, tell me more about, anything related to culinary arts.
When it comes to mentors, I even mention people that I watch or read because that's still a regular basis that you're taking in their ideals and their perspectives.
Yeah. So,
are there any books, people, motivational speakers, cooks that you like to watch? Like Gordon Ramsay was my idea.
T.D. Jakes is an individual who I like to listen to. First Baptist pastor John Jenkins and Keith Battle. That's for the spiritual side, and I feel like that's what keeps me rooted and humble and realizing that today you may be up, tomorrow you might be super up, but you keep that effed up attitude, you know what I'm saying? You can come down. And I've seen people do it, so I'm always rooted, and I stay humble knowing all the success you have now can be easily taken from you in an instant. But I tell you what I do, and I've done this since back then. I would study individuals who are in the same field as me, low level, bottom tier, people who coming up, or even top tier people. And when I look at what's popular, so say this is popular, I'm going this way because I never want to be considered, oh man, he's just hopping on the trend. Part of the crowd, bandwagon. Oh, he's making crab cake egg rolls like everyone else. Oh, he's making lasagna soup. Marry me chicken. I don't even want to be associated with stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, so when I do things, I try to be innovative, you know, and it's crazy to just witness sometimes just doing things naturally and just seeing that it just stole my whole style. Like, you know, it happens so often and people bring it to my attention and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. You know, from certain ways that I present the food to certain ways that I record different videos where I'm breaking things down. I'm like, hey, like this is not only resonating on other chefs or aspiring chefs. I'm like, y'all are really like mimicking.
Well, they say imitation is the best form of flattery.
It's not, but
I know.
See, and when people say that to me, I'm like, if you truly believe that, let me give you a better example.
I really do.
And I told this to somebody one day.
Trying to steal your ideas for the most part and run them off as your own. Like,
imagine if Barack Obama was an individual who, and I always use Snoop Dogg and Obama because I feel like those are very influential people, like on some, you know, chill stuff.
All the way back in the day to the Temptations. Remember on the movie, they tracked down that group that was acting like them?
Yeah.
And that really happened to them, though.
Yeah.
And back then, it was even easier to do it. They didn't have social media and phones and all that stuff. So somebody could easily, hey, dude, let's pretend to be them and get this money. Okay.
It is wild to me. Like, imagine if, so I just came out with a game app called Munch Match. And I think I probably only have like 12 downloads. But I said, imagine if Snoop Dogg came out with the same exact app or Barack Obama came out with the same app and promoted. People would be like, oh my gosh, this is so innovative. This is so dope. Would you feel like, but I came out with it and say it was just a similar name. Mine is called Munch Match, but say his was called Match Munch. People would be like, oh my gosh, that's so innovative. Would you think, oh my gosh, well, Snoop came out with it. I'm flattered that he came out with the same thing. Or would you be like insulted?
Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it. Sometimes when I'm like, all right, so this is one of the things I was doing. I would have all my food lined up and I'd tell the people to gather around. And I literally would film this for like a whole year. 2019 was the year I started. I'm like, so right now what we have is the chopped Asian salad with tomatoes, cucumbers, ginger, right here, we have shrimp scampi with angel hair pasta. Right here, we have my cougar wings, sweet and spicy cougar wing. Right here, we had, and I would go all the way down the line of whole food. And that way, it was helpful where people knew all the ingredients. You know, I was interactive, adding that personal in the personal chef. And it helped where people don't have to ask me later on, and I don't have to put the little tent card down.
Yeah.
And people look forward to that aspect of the business.
Yeah,
so,
I've seen that at a conference before. Yeah. Set up like that.
So imagine if, you know, you're doing this and this is your signature thing, and then you start seeing other chefs. Yeah, so right now what we have is this, and right now we have this. And it's like, you look out of your element. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for real.
I see it, and all I do, like, to me, I just laugh about it. I'm like, you know.
Yeah.
But also, you know, that right there is a little flattering because it's like you can't trademark you speaking over, but you know where you got it from.
Yeah, exactly.
So to me, but I mean, another trademark thing, like I started putting this dry ice around the food. I would just pour the water and just let it just like kind of just
go
through the whole thing.
Like that. I love it.
And then, you know, I started seeing other chefs. I see it in my DM. Yo, hey bro, I started thinking about dry ice a couple of weeks ago. Where can I get dry ice from? You didn't think about dry ice. You saw it. Just pay homage and I'll tell you. But since you want to play it like you came up with the idea and you thought of it, I'm not telling you.
I don't know. I have no idea, sir. I don't remember.
And see, to me, that's the humble. Yes. The humble. If somebody came to me and was like, hey bro, I really love your setups. I love how you just break the food down. I think I'm going to add that to my events. Hey bro, go for it. You got my blessings. Even if somebody came to me and was like, I would love to add dry ice to my events. I think it's dope the way you do it. Where can I buy dry ice from? Hey man, here's my distributor. Here's the address, man. Tell them Anthony sent you.
Yeah.
But when you try to play me like, man, I was just randomly thinking about doing this. I had like another thing I was doing a while ago, and I still see it to this day. I would have all these gravy boats lined up and have various sauces. So like, I have like a Parmesan cream sauce for the broccolini or my cougar sauce for the wings. And I would go down the line as I'm breaking the food down and I would just pour the sauce and, you know, pour the sauce. Kind of like how some of these janky individuals are now.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, Mine looked a little more classy, you know.
Yeah, because you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, I literally had a chef come to me and say, bro, that's crazy. And this was like a year into me already doing it. Mm-hmm. That's crazy because I was really thinking about doing like pouring sauces on my food at my events. I just read it.
You were thinking, but I did it.
Like, you weren't thinking it. Like, bro, like to me, it was just more of an insult. You're basically saying you were in my head and I had been thinking about this. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird behavior.
Yeah, I really think you shouldn't say it out loud because some people do think of some stuff, but because somebody else did it, I feel like because somebody else already did it, you shouldn't be saying nothing because they actually executed when you did it. Because there's a good instance where one of the motivational speakers that I follow, he's a like top marketer in America, period. Mm-hmm. And he came out with this game that as soon as I saw it, I was like, dang, I was thinking about making something like that so long ago, but he already came out with it.
Yeah.
And that's just how I look at things like that. Like, because honestly, there are people that might think of the same idea, but if you don't execute, you can't just walk up to somebody and be like, oh man, I thought of that same thing as if they stole your idea.
No, like, seriously. No. I could literally tell you one that would probably have put me in a whole different boat. And I didn't. And I literally, not only did I think about it, but I was trying to execute it, but I got robbed.
Yeah.
So, you know, Yahoo came out, Google came out, and then Bing came out. You know about Bing?
Yeah.
So these are all search engines.
I've been on computers since Ask Jeeves. Stop playing.
Yeah.
And AOL. What are you talking about?
So in between the time of Yahoo and Google, I always thought to myself, I like the way Yahoo looks because they had the news and the weather and all that good stuff. The little ticker for the stock.
Yeah.
But Google's searches are just way better. They give you better results. So I told myself, I went on Facebook, 2008. This is around the same time I was doing, what's it called? I just started a catering business.
Okay.
I went on Facebook. I'll never forget it. Does anybody know any web developers? A girl wrote me and said, I got one for you. Hit this girl up. Hit her up. So I'm breaking it down for. I said, yo, so I want to create a search engine. You think you can make a search engine for me? So yeah, I can do it. So what's the turnaround time? 6 weeks. All right. What name you want? Swizzy.com. I go online, try to buy it. Oh, it's already sold. So, okay. Either way, long story short, I don't want to go into long detail, but either way, I would pay this woman. And I paid her a grand total of $5,500 over a period of like 4 weeks and never got anything back from her.
Yeah.
Because she stole my money.
Wow.
She was never really a web developer. She sent me like one little logo. And then this was my final straw. I wrote her one day and I was like, hey, like, I can't keep paying you. You're not producing anything. You're not showing me anything.
Yeah.
So she would stop answering my phone calls. Basically, I was out of $5,500.
Dang.
And I had a notepad full of everything. Okay. Gave her $2,200 for interface, for this. And basically, what I was trying to do was create a search engine that looked like Yahoo, but had searches like Google.
Yeah.
And when she told me she could do it, it was like, I got something on my hands. And, you know, months later, Bing came out. So if mine would have came out beforehand, Bing came out June of 2010 or something like that. Either way, mine was supposed to come out like around like April.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Trying to be that cross.
It's just so crazy that it was almost like aligned timing that we were both coming out. I would never talk to the guy who created Bing. I thought of that idea. You know what I'm saying? That'd be weird. You know what I'm saying? But
or even Uber and Lyft. Like I used to, because my parents lived in not both my parents. My mom, she lives in Charles County in a big old house. But my dad used to live in the projects a lot. So whenever I be down there, I'm the person like I got a car. So anybody need a ride, they know to call me. And that's ride sharing.
Yep.
And so when the app came out, I was thinking the same thing. Like, oh man, I wish I would have thought of making it an app, but I never actually thought of making it an app.
Yeah.
This is it's like people have been doing that a long time. There's rappers that say it in songs too. Like
100%.
Yeah. That's a great reminiscent moment actually.
I rarely even think about that, but that's crazy. Like I don't know how that just came to my mind, but yeah.
All right. So your skills have earned media attention. How has this influenced your career and your mission for healthy living?
So when I had the health scare and I changed my entire diet, I realized that you can heal yourself through food. So even though I eat everything, like pork, chicken, beef, turkey, whatever, I still let people know that in moderation, you don't want to consume these things too often. You don't want too much fried food. You know, you eat fruits, you eat your veggies, fish, but one thing you definitely want to do is have a well-balanced diet. You know what I'm saying? Like eating cereal every morning is crazy. Like, I mean, it's just certain things I just can't
cow's milk anymore
can't do.
at all. Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I would never knock nobody for doing it. I would knock nobody for eating whatever they eat.
Yeah, there's random moments where I might end up having like macaroni and cheese because it's like, or something like that. Actually, it's been months. I did have some yesterday though. Yeah. And that's why when I was eating it, I was like, yeah, I haven't had this in forever. It's like not even a familiar taste anymore.
Yeah. You talking about regular mac and cheese? Yeah. Not vegan mac and cheese.
No, it was baked mac and cheese. Yeah, regular
vegan mac and cheese. I
haven't even tried that yet.
I've had it at my event.
I have some nutritional yeast at home, and I was gonna make some, but I've actually ended up making some salmon cakes instead. Those were really good, but but those were really good. But yeah, I've actually even looked up the digestion time for various types of food, and that is why people get so sick because
what's the longest?
Meat.
Red meat or meat?
All meat.
Oh, huh.
All meat takes at least a week for your body to fully digest it. Meanwhile, fruits and vegetables take about 2 hours. So in comparison, that's why you are seemingly hungry all the time when you turn into vegan and stuff like that. Yeah. I feel like, but honestly, it's okay to munch on fruits and vegetables all day long.
All day.
It's okay.
But then you got people that actually eat meat that when you tell them to eat fruits and vegetables, they always try to say,
I need meat.
It's too much sugar. All that sugar is in the fruit. You be like, okay.
I've even found the studies, and these are actual medical studies that show that it's actually better for you to eat the sugar out of fruits and vegetables because all of the artificial sugars take longer for your body to process. Yep. Even the fake sugars that they tell diabetics they're supposed to take, your body can't even recognize those. That's also why you end up retaining more weight and they end up with gout and all that other stuff because your body is not recognizing the stuff you're putting in it. It's chemical based. It's not actually sugar, so it doesn't know how to break it down. It's confused.
I'll tell somebody, look, you want to change your entire eating, go on a Daniel fast. I'm talking about when, like, you say you got desires to eat pastries and you can't give up your cakes. You got to have ice cream every night. You got to have frappuccinos and, you know, all that other stuff that may be bad for you. I say may be bad.
Yeah.
Go on a Daniel fast. Peanuts, pistachios, almonds, blackberries, blueberries, fruit, grapefruit, oranges.
Yeah, all those
I eat lemons.
Antioxidants and stuff.
I eat lemons and limes like an apple, you know, and just try it. And I say, just try it for 3 days. Watch when you come back on the 4th day how you feel about certain foods. But if you really do it for 21 days straight, you won't even look at that stuff the same. But
because almost everything you listed are antioxidants and stuff like that, so it's going to help get all of that toxic stuff out of you.
Those are literally my favorite though.
Yeah.
Like the peanuts, the almonds, the pistachios, watermelon, grapefruit, lemons, limes, pineapples. Like I could literally eat those every single day.
So, mango is my favorite.
Mango, oh my goodness.
Mango, apples, oranges, lemons. Yeah, those are my favorites.
Grapes, blackberries.
I don't
care for raspberries though.
I will say, I know raspberries are kind of iffy because they're, I don't know, this texture of them. Mushy. But yeah. But I will say, I forgot what I was about to say.
I'd be like that. My bad.
Oh, I was talking about the mangoes. Oh, grapes. So I really love grapes, but I stopped eating them because everywhere I go, they don't have seeds.
Right.
Which is unnatural.
Yep.
And when you go to the organic section, they still have no seeds. So why people don't realize that this is wrong and they're tricking you, I have no idea. But anything that grows naturally and organically has a seed because it has to reproduce. This goes from human to animals to plants of all kinds. So why are we getting these grapes with no seeds that are supposed to be organic?
So how are they growing them though?
Exactly my point.
Are they really great? Like, okay, like the watermelons that don't have seeds. I'm like, how do they get the seeds out? But then you see the white seeds in there.
They're genetically modified. They still have those.
I want to see that process.
I know, right?
Like, I wonder if there's a video on YouTube.
There's documentaries about how they're doing this genetic modifications. So a lot of time they're crossbreeding, which people don't know either. They see GMO and they know it's bad. They don't know what it means. GMO means they've genetically crossed these plants with different illnesses, viruses, like pesticides, so that they can fight bugs instead of spraying it with pesticides. That's literally what they're doing. So they're mixing our food with all of these viruses and stuff like that so that the plant can fight the insects, but then we're eating it.
Yeah.
And they're wondering where all these diseases and allergies have coming from that have not been present for centuries, and now for the past couple of decades, it's been growing rapidly. Yeah. And then especially in America, like that's why there's so many foods that are banned overseas that aren't banned here.
Right.
There's stuff that they sell us here that they make differently in order for them to sell it overseas. They're poisoning us. They're making money off of it, hand over fist. And people don't want to listen. They want to listen to their doctor that's making more money off of you. The sicker you are, the more money they make. The more you have to send to see them, the more prescriptions you have to get. And then you get the side effects from the prescriptions. And then you're back. Like, it's an endless cycle. Yeah. America makes their money off of that stuff. But it's crazy how so many people are actually still living though.
Living long lives too.
Yes. But the good thing I have noticed about the people who are living longer lives, they don't eat as much of the stuff that is poisonous. And I'm using that leniently. I'm not saying you're actually poisoning yourself, which you are kind of, but still. Anyways. But yeah, they don't eat as much of that stuff, and they work. They work jobs that actually physically keep them fit. Yeah. Instead of sitting on their butt all day long. That's why there's a lot of people who do work from home who are realizing, okay, they have like the standing desk, or the people who work in the office, they have like that treadmill, like it's a walking desk. And so it's so
I think that's the coolest thing though. It popped up in my feed the other day.
Me too.
I don't have a use for it because I'm not really on a computer so much, but I'm like, hey, if I was, and then the desk like looks like this, but it's like taller.
Yeah.
And you can just walk.
Can literally type.
So you're getting like steps
walking.
in, you know what I'm saying?
Lots of steps. Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty low.
But it's still early.
Yeah. I try to get about, I ride the bike, so I ain't worried about it. I did 24 miles the other day.
That's what's up.
And I did a 2 hour. I don't never do no 2 hour on the bike, but I had the time.
I gotta get mine fixed. The inner tube is messed up. So.
Oh, you talking about a bike? I was talking about the Peloton.
I'm talking about a real bike. I go out
outdoor bike.
My bike. So. My mom has a Peloton too.
Yeah. I could get in a bike club. I'll definitely.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of solo flyer. Maybe eventually I'll get in a bike club and ride with other people. Yeah. So your initiative in sharing vegan recipes with HBCUs is notable. Like we're over here by Howard University. Just a red flag. I like Howard University, so I don't mind putting them in my videos. And Hampton University too, even though they're rivals a little. All right. What motivates this, and what impact do you see on the community?
So I went to a HBCU. It wasn't one of any of the ones you listed. I went to Bowie State.
Oh, okay.
But just being able to give them a part of something that I feel like they need, and I feel like with the company that I partner with, I stand behind their product. Go Legendary has great plant-based ground. And, I use it on a regular basis. I got a freezer full of it. And just being able to implement various dishes. So the latest one was at Morgan State, where...
My brother went there for a little while, too, before he joined the Coast Guards.
That's a good school, man.
Yeah.
And fairly affordable, But I created this chicken sandwich for them. Chicken.
Right.
But the vegan version. And, they had it and they were sharing it with the kids. And the kids were just like... Why I call them kids, huh? They're adults, but
technically still are. Some of them will still agree with me, and it's so crazy. There was one I worked with that said that, like, I was like, "Well, you're grown." She was like, "No, I still feel like a kid. I don't want to grow too fast." I was like, "I'm glad."
Well, that's odd though, because most time they don't think like that.
Normally they think they're fully grown and I can't teach you nothing. Okay.
And they're hard to talk to, but you know, when we did that rolling out of the chicken sandwich, like they loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate them letting me be a part of that, you know, that mission. So
that sounds awesome. And that's actually what I want to do is like be a part of initiatives to help teach like financial literacy skills and stuff like that, because just offering it as a class, most high schools and colleges will make it an elective.
Yep.
Instead of making it mandatory. And I feel like it's something that should be mandatory. Even if it's only a 1 semester class. Like it should be something that's mandatory.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to even volunteer time for that. Like I've told people that. One lady I told that, I was like, I'm willing to volunteer my time. She said, no, you're going to get paid. I was like, okay. I was like, she's like, I'm going to help you. Okay. Yeah. But it's important. Yeah. It's just very important. And that's why even everything that I learn, as I learn it, I teach it to my son. Even if it's not fully developed, I go back. Hey, I found out this too. Here, look at this link. Look at this link, because he's on his phone all day anyways, and he will go look at it. He'll go look at stuff and glance at it, and because I'll give him a quiz on it. Yeah. I'll give him a little quiz. Yeah. You know, mama don't play. Yeah. I want him to learn all the good stuff before it's too late. People wait till their children are 18, 19, 20, or never. Yeah. And never teach them about paying bills. People get their first apartment and they're in there with no furniture and stuff for months, and the water's off because they don't know what to do and they don't know how to set all that.
You know, this younger generation, they're not as privileged to have seen a transition of things. So a lot of stuff they don't really even necessarily know. You ask somebody 17 what an encyclopedia is and watch them be like, is that an animal? You know what I'm saying? Like they really just, there's certain things that they just don't know. You know what I'm saying? You know, but then there was things that we didn't know.
Yeah.
You know.
That's very true. So but we would find out because we had different generations. Research. We, like J. Cole's called it middle child, like we're in between. We know what the old school people know, but then we have kids, or we may be the latter end of our generation is the one that's part of that, those kids that grew up with mostly computers and stuff like that. They don't know how to write a letter.
They don't know how to write in cursive.
They don't know how to write in cursive.
But they don't teach that.
Yeah, because you don't have to actually sign papers anymore. You literally go online. Even when they have you sign, that's not really signing, because signing, we had to learn how to do handwriting. Like you use your finger. We're back to slavery days where you could just put an X and that's your signature. Yep. Basically.
No, seriously.
That's literally leave your mark. That's why they tell you that's not even a signature back then. They told you to leave your mark or whatever that was. Yeah. It's crazy. But that's why we need to teach them better. Yeah. There's certain things I feel like they should always know. Like my grandpa taught me how to read a map, an actual paper map. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why
some of the big joint they have in the back seat.
Exactly. That's why when GPSs came out, when Google Maps came out, well, first of all, when GPSs came out and they were kind of not that accurate, I could still look at it and know where I'm going because I know how to read a map. And the same thing happens with Google Maps. If it freezes, I can still look at it and know, okay, wait, I already passed this. I can go here. I can map something out myself without even actually using the directions. Yeah. But a lot of people would never know how to do that. Yeah. They'll get lost. They're in their phones. They walking into stuff. Like they're just lost.
The kids can't even count because, you know, I don't think they pay attention to change. No. Like, all right, so if something costs $2.51 and I gave them $3, they wouldn't know it was 49 cents.
And they accidentally press the exact change button.
Right. They'd be like that.
Because I've worked in restaurants for 22 years. I've seen them do this so many times. Like they accidentally pressed the exact change, or somebody gave them a 20 and they pressed $5, or whatever the amount, they pressed the wrong amount. And they're like, can you help me? I pressed the wrong thing. It's going to mess up my drawer. Well, first of all, it's not going to mess up your drawer as long as you give out the proper amount of change. Oh, well, how do I know what that is? Do the math in your head. Yeah. I can't do that. I got you.
Because everything is all about swiping cards. So really, they don't have to calculate nothing. Yeah. It's going to always be the exact change. So, yeah.
It's happened so many times. And that's honestly what motivated me to do what I'm doing now. Because like I said, I've been in food service for 22 years. I've worked at ODU campus. I've worked at Boston Market. I've worked at KFC, Taco Bell. I've worked at so many different restaurant concepts. And normally the crew is young adults. And I was one of those young adults at one point in time. But now that I'm older and I know more than what they know, I want them to know this stuff while they're still young.
Yeah.
Because everybody keeps telling them YOLO. YOLO does not mean go out and mess up your younger years. Because honestly, your younger years is the best time to get as much money as possible before you get too old. And then that way, when you do get old, you got money stacked.
Yep.
Like
buying $1,500 jeans and $600 shirts will never make sense to me.
Just to go get dirty or go get drunk, probably spill a drink on it or sweat all in them.
It makes no sense. Like, but that's how the young generation thinks, though.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, it's crazy, but we're gonna move forward from that because they're gonna learn, and it'll be a progression. Our economy moves in waves, and so right now this is the wave of kids who a lot of their parents didn't want them to have to go through what they went through, so they babied and pampered them, or they just aren't teaching them. They're just ignoring them. They just put them in front of a TV or a tablet or a computer or a gaming system, and they actually don't even raise their kids at all. So we have to learn how to actually take control of our children's future by teaching them.
What was your first car?
My first car was a 87 Mustang.
What year were you born?
87. That's why I bought it.
whole point I'm trying to make is my first car was a 91 Honda. I was born in 86, right? Try to find a kid right now who's going to get a car. Let's say they were born in 99, right? So they're about 20s. My math off too. About 25.
Right.
I guarantee that 25-year-old don't have no car from 99. That 25-year-old has a car
with a payment and all kinds of
that
stuff.
Is maybe not even a payment. Parents went out and dropped $16,000 on a brand new Nissan. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're so privileged, you know. And maybe I got animosity because I wasn't privileged. I worked hard for everything I got. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like everything just seems to just be handed to them,
without the
so they don't even
calling my parents to say,
appreciate
"Okay, help me."
Right. You know, and like that lack of appreciation. So even with my daughter, I do stuff like this, and I teach her, like, I'm like, so what is this? She'll be like, lamb chops. So like, and then I'll show it to her like in the rack form, then I'll show it to her in the cup form. Like, this lamb chops when you cut them. What's this? Oxtail. She can identify anything. Onions. She know an onion from an apple, from a pear, to, you know what I'm saying? And it's because I teach it to her.
Early. Yes. I taught it to my son too. And that's what goes back to us saying the generation after generation don't know how to eat healthy. Yep. They don't even recognize what the healthy stuff is. They go in the
She knows how to read the back of the nutritious facts. And she'll be like, this has a lot of total fat. This has a lot of saturated fat.
My son does that too.
So, you know, and that's how I teach them young. But also something like this I'll do. Like, let's say I'm sweeping up. I'll be like, hey, Asham, and that's my 8-year-old. I'll be like, hey, can you run and take this bag to each room and dump the trash into each thing? And guess what? She's earned her money. So it's not like, oh, okay, here you go. Here's $10 to go to Claire's. You know, here's $20 to go buy some Roblox. I don't do that. I want her to be able to know that, you know, you work for what you can get. You know, and I could tell that she looks forward to it. So like, she'll ask me, hey, what can I do? So I want to buy $5 worth.
Yeah, my son.
I'm like, I find something stupid. Like, I'll go in the dishwasher, clean dishes, take the forks and I'm like, okay, put all the forks in here. Well, she knows not forks, spoons, knives, you know, separate. Only thing she don't touch is them big knives. So she knows to move the wooden spoons, go over there, you know. So she mentally knows that you have to work to earn money. Not like how a lot of the young generation where they could just text mom or text dad, cash at me. Like, what?
And the craziest part is it'll be middle class and lower, like poor people that actually do that. And it's crazy because you're creating more poor generations. They know to just be frivolous with their money. Because that's what you're doing. You're teaching them how to just be frivolous with their money. And I actually read something the other day where one parent who's a motivational speaker, all his kids are grown and are living awesome lives because of, you know, he contributes to part of the stuff that he taught them. And one of them was after they got a certain age, the chore, instead of doing chores, they got allowance for reading books. And it had to be the books he gave them, like Think and Go Rich and Rich Dad Poor Dad and stuff like that.
I like that concept.
The Who Not How and books that teach them the greater skills that
to be decent human beings, to be financially literate, you know.
Yeah,
these kids these days will rebel now. How old is your son?
13.
13. I don't think he's old enough to start rebelling yet. But no, I'm talking about like these 16, 17, 18-year-old, like, I don't know, man. And that's why I feel like the crime is so high. You know, it's little to no guidance at home.
But it already, I'm glad you said that, because that starts early. When they teach them to be just careless and free from birth, like you have the toddler running around, they knock someone over, that's just funny, come on, let's clean it up. But then they get a little bit older, no, you're not supposed to do that. But wait, you just laughed at it.
Yeah, you laughed at it
years ago.
Like, you filmed it, you posted online.
Exactly, you thought it was good. Like, what's going on? I'm confused. They're confused. And then they get older and they're still confused because you are giving them a different response than what you originally gave them. My son has always gotten the same response from certain behaviors, period.
Yeah.
And so he knows that, and that's why he'll talk to me. He'll talk to me more than his grandma. He's at his grandmother's house right now because while I made my move up here, he was going to school from there still. Like, he'll talk to me. I'm like his best friend darn near. But he knows I'm not your friend, still your mama, but I'm here for you no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's what I look forward to. He does have the ups and downs in his attitudes because he is a preteen, but we've even discussed how to resolve that issue.
Yeah.
He knows how to, Mom, I can't talk right now because somebody just really upset me earlier today. Okay. Okay, call me later. Because sometimes we lash out on other people when we feel a certain way about something. You have to deal with that first. And so that was good of him. I was really proud when he did that day. Because, you know, other people, they'll probably, there's grown people that don't know any better than that.
Why you acting like that?
Yeah. You know that's so crazy. But I'm glad I'm getting him emotionally equipped for being an adult. And our next question is, balancing a successful career and family life is challenging, like we were talking about just now. How do you maintain this balance?
See, to me, that one's fairly easy because I don't work on any holidays. You know, I was taken away from multiple holidays when I first started out, when I first started getting, you know, 2 and 3 events a month, which to me, I'm doing like 16 a month now. But when I was getting like 2 and 3 a month, it was like Mother's Day, Father's Day, Thanksgiving, maybe a random event in between time, even working like Christmas. Like it was crazy. So, and I realized I was being taken away from those, you know, valuable family situations. I remember one time I had to go to work on Black Friday, and I'm like, like it felt bad, you know, being away. So now that I control my schedule, I make sure that I schedule that time for them.
Food service has always been that way because, like I said, I've been in food service for 22 years. So the only time I had holidays off is when I was working on college campuses.
Right.
And so this past 2 or 3 years that I've been out, well, 3 or 4 years now.
It feels great though, right?
It feels great. It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. I didn't mean to cut your wisdom. Were you finished with that topic?
Oh yeah, no. I was just basically saying that, you know, I make sure that they get that valuable time with me.
Yeah.
And let's say it's January, and then I book the Friday, Saturday, and I'm off Sunday. And then the next week is Saturday and Sunday. And then I book up just having the third week. That fourth week, I won't let nobody book no events. I'll spend the whole weekend with them. You know, I pick them up from school every day. You know, so I still get that bonding time every day unless I have a random event on a Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. But, you know, that little bit of time in the car, you know, that means a lot to them, you know.
That's why I make sure I call my son every day on video call, not a regular call. Video call every day. And while he's been down there, because he's in Virginia, so while he's been down there, I go down there once a month, whether it's for a weekend or if it's a school holiday, I'll go during the week because it's easier for me because I usually work weekends at the job I'm at. So it's nice. And then we're closed on holidays, so that's awesome too. So I've gotten to spend time with him. It's a lenient schedule, so I can still, like his birthday weekend, I had that whole 3-day weekend, 4-day weekend I took off.
That's awesome.
So
I love it.
It's ideal once you get to that point where you can spend balanced time between professional, personal, and family. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people put family in the bucket with personal, but personal is something separate because you have your own mental health that you have to work on in order for you to be valuable to your family. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't worked on that, then your time with your family sucks. Yep. Like, that's the only word I could put for it, because you're one of those people that's letting out your anger, frustrations, deep-rooted, whatever, on other people. And that's not cool. Yeah. So, reflecting on your journey, can you share a pivotal decision or moment that significantly contributed to your financial success?
Pivotal moment, September 2019. I was at an event, beautiful home. I never forget it. I'm really good with dates. So September of 2019, went to this home. They hired me on a Monday. The event was on a Wednesday. And typically I don't let people hire under that short notice, but cool. They paid, and I get there. The event was supposed to start at 6. The event was set to start at 6 p.m. I got there at 4, prep, had all the food ready by 6. Well, had all the appetizers, because they had salad, starter, appetizer, main course. Had the salad ready, plated up, boom. It only 8 people. And I remember the crab cake, made the crab cakes, boom, put it on separate plate, garnish. And then I get there, and 6 o'clock rolls around and nobody's there. Okay. 7 o'clock rolls around, nobody's there. I talked to the assistant. I'm with you for an hour and a half of your event, because I think that's the amount of time that, if you're eating, that you probably need. Salad, starter, appetizer, main course, 90 minutes. I told the assistant. She had an assistant. Like I said, big house, probably does something big, major. I said, hey, look, I think we about to be in overtime, because they haven't even started eating and nobody's even here yet. She's like, oh yeah, we'll just pay you later. I got you. All right. 8:45 rolls around. The first guest comes in. Wow. They're like, yeah, trust me. However long we need you here, you're good. Serve them salad, appetizer, grill some steaks, boom, mashed potatoes, asparagus, broccolini, boom. They're done. Clean the kitchen. Assistant was like, yeah, just call me, email me tomorrow. I got you. 3 hours of overtime, $220 an hour. Just pay it, you know what I'm saying? Send it through Zelle, Cash App, or I can invoice you, you pay with your credit card. Yeah. I send them that email, I get an email back. The crab cakes were made with this. It wasn't even good. That strange sauce. The salad, I don't know what that mysterious salad dressing was. The steak wasn't even cooked to the right temperature. I cook and I clean. Yeah. Wow, it's no food left on the plate. So I'm confused. Yeah. And then you didn't even entertain us. And I'm like,
the chef's not supposed to be the entertainer.
Dance or something? Like, come on. Or fling shrimp in your mouth like a hibachi. First of all, they're in a whole separate dining area, and I'm in a kitchen. I read it. I said, you know what? This doesn't even solicit a response. Yeah. I'm going to take that 3 hours on the chin. It is what it is. That $600, $660, I'm good. Just don't call me no more. Save you in my phone is do not allow to book any future events. Yeah. Don't call me. But one thing stuck out to me. You did not entertain me. And I was just like, I don't know what type of entertainment she was looking for. Yeah. So that was Wednesday. I had an event that's coming up Saturday. I said, you know what? I'm sure they still follow me online. Let me show them what entertainment is. Yeah. And I told the dude that was the assistant that I was with, I said, yo, just start filming this. So their event was in the basement of the house. It was an all-girls event. And that's when I started the sauce pouring thing. I made various sauces for all of the different dishes. And I said, I'm not going to put it on there right now and then serve them. I said, I'm going to pour it. So I walked down the stairs. I'm bringing everything down. It wasn't as polished. Like I had certain things in pots with the handles. So it still gave like this, kind of grungy, rustic look, but it was cool.
I was about to say, it still works.
Yeah, it wasn't like in the gravy boat, like I was doing. So I see some of the ladies are still waiting for them to get dressed and whatnot. So I bring everything down, bringing it down the stages. I said, all right, go. He starts filming. I'm going down the line. Sauce pouring, da-da-da. And then all you hear is one of the ladies, hey girl, you need to hurry and come out here. You need to see this. So I'm going down the line. I'm just acting like I ain't paying them no attention.
Yep.
Pouring sauce, come over here, stand right here. I said, yo, zoom in a little bit. I want you to get a close up on this. Pouring the sauce. And I'm like, this is what I'm going to start doing. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start pouring sauces at my events. 2019. Mm-hmm. And from that point on, that became my signature thing at my events. Because people start hiring me just so they can get this aspect of not only good food, but this aspect of entertainment, of sauce pouring. And I feel like things really took off at that point in time.
Yeah.
I did a whole lot of events. But then the 2020, March, was when the pandemic hit and it shut things down. So I mean, even when I was making videos, I still was doing sauce pouring in the videos. You know what I'm saying? So I could still maintain my signature.
How did COVID affect your business?
I just couldn't do no more events. I was just doing drop-offs. Oh, yeah, because I wasn't going to nobody's house.
Oh, yeah, no.
And then I would just wear a mask when I would go to people's actual houses.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, because nobody knew how people were getting it. They were like, sure, I wore my mask and I still caught COVID. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then I didn't catch COVID till December of that year. But
I'm glad I didn't catch it at all.
At all, that's good.
No, yes.
Yeah.
That is good.
That's a good immune system.
Yeah.
But
because I was around people who had caught it. Mm-hmm. And I never caught it.
Yeah.
And I know I wasn't asymptomatic because I took the test before too. Mm-hmm. Like every time I was around somebody who had it, I did eventually end up taking my test and all that. I just never caught it.
Yeah.
So I was lucky.
You never had a positive result either?
Nope.
That's good.
Never had a positive result. So that was a good thing. And my mom pushed me to go get the
vaccine.
Yeah. So
you got it?
Yeah.
I got it too. I ain't never get no booster, but
me either. I was like, that was good enough.
But I don't think I'm fully vaccinated because I got one shot in April. Then I got the next shot in August.
Yeah, that is a long time.
Yeah, you're supposed to get them back-to-back months or something.
Yeah, I think it's like a month or like a couple weeks or something. Like I don't remember because I got the first set. I'm not going to get no more. They're not putting no more poison in my body. It's enough in the food. It really is. All right. So as an entrepreneur, what strategies have you employed for financial planning and wealth building in the culinary industry?
Yeah, proper purchasing, but also, proper charging what you're worth. And if I know I'm gonna go over and beyond for somebody at an event, like I'm gonna do something spectacular, I'm gonna also charge them for it. I'm not gonna eat up that cost. I'm gonna always make sure that the event is so well structured. So like, okay, they got 50 people, they want servers. I'm gonna make sure I charge them for the servers. And basically in a nutshell, I'm not eating no charges. Charges that people like, oh yeah, can you add that on? Okay, you can add that on with the price. Yeah. So I make sure that all of the money is paid in full 7 days before the event. Where I've seen some chefs where they're like, oh, I'm getting paid the day of. I'm like,
or the day before.
That's crazy because what if you go to the event and they decide they don't want to pay you?
Yeah.
Like somebody called me the other day and said that. He was like, the lady didn't pay him. She kept running around. I said, bro, that's what they do. She never had any intention on paying you in the first place. And she kept giving you the cold shoulder at the event, laughing and having drinks and this and that. And then tell you she's going to pay you tomorrow and you're not going to get that money. I told her, I said, you might as well go and cancel that now. You're not getting your money.
Yeah. That's why a lot of places and people take deposits too.
Yep.
Like I need
deposit going to hold your date. You need to be paid in full 7 days before. If you're not paid in full 7 days before, I have the right to say, I'm not doing this event. So. Yeah. And if you try to get me, within the 7 days. So if your event is Monday and you want the event on Thursday, you got to pay it in full.
Yeah, you got to pay me right now.
any event that's over, I used to say 5,000, but now it's 3,000. Your deposit has to be paid in cashier's check.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you can end up where somebody called their bank. Yeah, this is an unauthorized transaction.
I know, even with the card or a paper check.
I'm not playing that. But guess what? You can't do that with a cashier's check because you had to go inside that bank and make it out to Anthony D. Thomas. And, I'm not taking that type of hit for an event that, I execute.
Especially not of that volume. Like, nobody wants to wait.
I mean, you don't want to take that hit for no amount of money. Yeah. But, for an event of that high price, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Cashier check, or I'll meet you and get cash.
Cash or cashiers. That's it. I gotta check them bills too.
And I got a clipboard that I leave when I leave from the event. You have to sign off. Yes, check. I did. Yes, everything was clean. Yes, I'm fully satisfied. Yes, and your signature. And I got a witness with me. Not taking no chances.
Yeah, because I'm sure you probably had people who come, oh, you lost this or you broke this and you ain't cleaned this. Like, none of that happened, but.
I had a woman when I was in Vegas. I had sent my team to an event, and she said, "And your team didn't even clean my kitchen." I said, "Well, I got the video right here." Because they know you got to film and document this stuff because people will try their hand to try to find a reason that they do with black businesses to try to get a refund or get money back.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's mostly our own people doing it to us.
It is.
And it's so crazy.
Well, yeah, mostly because I've seen it from
I know
others.
other people too, because there's some people that are just difficult anyways. But most other races, they don't do that. I'm not even going to say most others, because white people do it to each other too. Like Asian people I've run into, and a reason I say Asian people, because they can be Cantonese, Korean, Chinese. They actually try to look out for each other. When it's their business, they leave tips and all that. The Jewish people too. They'll pay the reasonable price. They're not going to overpay you though. Like they look out for each other. There's nobody who actually, unless you're adolescents will always, like when they're under like 25 and under, they're always going to try to ask for a cheaper discount. Sometimes they don't care about coming out their pocket though. Yeah, I know a lot of them that don't. It's been very frivolous.
Well, guess what? It's probably not coming out of their pocket. It's probably coming from their mom or dad.
Exactly. So. That's exactly why. Because they're not actually paying. They don't know the hard work that was put behind those dollars to even provide. So that's why they don't know. They have no concept of that. They didn't have to do it.
100%.
Yeah. So our last question for today is going to be, what advice would you give to someone facing challenges while embarking on their wealth building journey?
Yep. If you're having a problem with wealth building, you should sit down and actually do a diagram and break down all your monthly expenses, where your money is going. What are you spending your money on? If it's things that aren't necessary, you go into the liquor store, you keep stopping at various coffee shops every morning, you stopping at fast food joints, you may have to cut that out and figure out how can you make adjustments to your, so you can save more money, keep more money coming in.
That's what I've been teaching on my Wisdom Prosper Wednesdays for the past couple of weeks, actually, most recently, is about creating, first of all, starting with financial tracking. So actually pay attention to what you're spending, whether you have to write it on physical paper or if you're digital and you need to open up an Excel spreadsheet or just put it in a Word document and keep track every time you spend money. And after a week, look at what you spent all your money on throughout the week.
Or sometimes take cash out. So when people on my team, like I'll ask them, do they want cash? Like, nah, I want a cash app. Cool. Or if they give a cash tip, they're like, nah, I want a cash app. Sometimes it's best to have cash. They're like, oh, it's gonna go faster. Yeah. So if anybody says that it's gonna go faster when you get cash,
that means you already know.
That means you just be swiping your card.
Exactly.
I'd rather have cash and say I'll just use my cash for the next 3 days, or this is what I'm gonna utilize for gas and this and this and this. So that's very, very helpful. Yeah. If I go to a casino, let's say I want to gamble, right? I'm gonna take out a certain amount. If I come up, I come up. But there's no going back to the ATM. So there's set budgets on certain things,
Yeah, that's that discipline, and that's lacking in this generation because they don't know the discipline of it. So that's why they would have to actually sit back, because they probably couldn't even, if you ask them right now, where did you spend your money for the last 3 days? They might not even be able to remember everywhere they spent money for the last 3 days. So that's why it would be important to start with tracking it and then making yourself a budget, a realistic budget.
A realistic budget.
Like you said, you could pull out, so whatever your entertainment and free spend money, you could pull that out the ATM. That way, once the cash is gone, it's gone. Don't go swiping for it. All your bills can come off your card. And then that way it's simpler. That's the way I started doing it at first. And now I have a secured card that I use for what I would have used for cash, just to build my credit back up and all that stuff, because I had completely cleaned up my credit in 1 year. I went from 540 credit score to a 720 by the end of the year.
That's awesome.
Going hard. I was working like 52 to 60 hours a week. I was doing DoorDash, Uber, and Lyft. and I was sleeping like 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
At most. At most.
See, that's good for like a year. You can't do that for like 3 and 4 years. It's gonna
That's
catch
why
up
I'm not doing it again this time. I'm gonna take my time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my time. So I know exactly what to do to be able to fix all of that stuff, and I also know exactly what to do when you mess it up. Because right after I built my credit up and I had these cards and stuff I could use, I was spending wisely at first, and then I was like, but I'm like 30 years old and I've never been to a concert. Yeah. I've never done this. I was like, I'm just going to go do it. Yeah. Like, I took my mom to a concert. Yeah, you should. I went to a couple of different things. And so I'm going to pay that stuff back now.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Yeah, because like.
That's the thing. You can't take it with you.
No, you
So
can't.
I do tell people, like, you have to enjoy your money. Yeah. But at the same time, just blowing it and not having it is beyond me.
Yeah, and then once you have children, or for those people who don't have children and plan to have children, it's nice to be prepared for them
100%
ahead of time, especially for the people who don't have kids yet. Like, you can prepare for them now. Yeah. And that way you don't have to worry about it. So even if you do have an oops moment down the road, you're prepared. Yeah. Because a lot of times people try to plan out pregnancies and it doesn't happen. Or even the people who plan to not have pregnancies and then it ends up happening. Because I've known people who've been on shots and pills and still ended up getting pregnant, put on condoms, thing broke, still ended up pregnant. Like, there was a boy that I had met, we worked together, and he was telling me about how he had waited until he was like 19 to even start having sex and ended up having sex with somebody and the condom broke. So you have a baby and you just started doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild.
Or even more famous, Patrick Beck-Davis, who is a motivational speaker. And that's what happened to him too. His very first time when he was like 15, 16, she got pregnant. He said he did not have sex no more. He joined the military when he turned 18 because of the baby and all that stuff. Like, he didn't have sex again until he joined the military and all that. Like, because your very, very first time you end up with a baby, like, I would have stopped too.
Yeah. That's traumatizing though.
It is traumatizing. It's like, that's exactly what they warned me about. Yep. Oh, I can only imagine. But this was a very great conversation.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I enjoyed it. I appreciate you spending the time. Yeah. And I look forward to all of the information that we can share, any interviews we end up doing in the future, working together. I got a birthday coming up, so I might hit you up for that.
Yeah. So, you let me know. I got you.
Yes,
you're in good hands.
Thank you.
Yep.